There really hasn't been much variation to the slew of Pokémon films released since the first few trilogies. After some time, narrations become familiar and repetitive. This leads to the law of diminishing returns, and lackluster praise from fans who crave a fresh new change. Believe it or not, fans did get that. First, showing up in the 20th season of the anime. The biggest noticeable difference was the animation style. While the anime's look had changed over the years, much of it remained similar to how it began. Now, though, the designs were childlike and even more expressive than before. However, that wasn't the case for the next film to roll out. For one, the year of this film's release also marked the 20th anniversary of the anime's beginning. Rightfully so, it seems the film crew behind this production made sure to make this entry stand out from the recent films that came out. What really shakes up the way this entry plays out is that it no longer follows the current anime, and is instead a retelling of the first several episodes of Season 1. To some, this may seem a bit blasphemous, but what helps is seeing this as an alternate continuity, not as a part of the original anime. Directed by Kunihiko Yuyama, and written by Shoji Yonemura, viewers are introduced to Ash, just starting his journey with Pikachu, with the classic setup. Once he and Pikachu become best of friends, they witness the legendary Ho-Oh and catch a feather from the mythical creature. Along his travels, he meets other trainers, Sorel, voiced by David Oliver Nelson, and Verity, voiced by Susie Myers-Jackson, learning and growing together about Ho-Oh and the stories surrounding it. The story itself actually focuses on why Ash receives the feather from Ho-Oh, and the significance behind it. It's a moment that has never been touched on in the anime, other than being mentioned from time to time. It is definitely thought out in a better way than Pokémon the Movie 2000, with the whole Chosen One storyline feeling forced or random. What also makes this entry better than several before it are the numerous references shown in the film. Some of these nods are parts of the Season 1 anime, while others are spread out among later eras that aired in the past. It's almost like someone was watching very carefully at each film from before, and took note of what resonated most with fans. There, they insisted those elements would be included in various aspects of the movie. Shoji Yonemura is no newcomer to the franchise, as they've been involved since early on in the anime. The only thing in the writing that will show viewers not everything has changed is one usual trope this franchise is notorious for. There are emotional elements that come up, but they are short-lived. The voice acting, though, is still as good as it's been. While people wanted Veronica Taylor to reprise her role as Ash, many have become accustomed to Sarah Natacheni, and since this film takes place in an alternate timeline, it's better Taylor did not come back. It would only give fans false hope of further returns, despite how much Taylor will always be the original Ash. David Oliver Nelson is good as Sorel, even though this remains to be their only voice acting credit. Susie Myers-Jackson, though, has worked with the anime before, and works as Verity too. There's also appearances from Billy Bob Thompson, playing Cross, a selfish trainer, and Mike Pollock as Bonji, a researcher who spent his life learning as much as he can from Ho-Oh. Of course, there's also the Team Rocket crew, who are not as involved again like before, but do provide some comedy relief as expected at this point. Visually, as mentioned before, the 20th season of the anime experienced a change in character design. For this feature, though, the animation is closer to that of the seasons before it, due to it being related to the anime's 20th anniversary. Cinematography is still a mystery, with Aya Aoshima being credited for the work. As for music, though, composing the score was Shinji Miyazaki, with Ed Goldfarb attached for some reason even though an album release exists only in Japan, as usual. The music appears to be the most diverse sounding in its selection of orchestrations. There are a number of tracks that match the scenes depicted, and are quite distinct in their own sound. As an overall listening experience, the album is just over an hour long, which is nice to see how much music there is to this entry. Though it has not risen past even the best of the franchise's archive of films, it is one of the best in a long time. It may have the usual pitfall here and there, but the story focuses on an event that's been given little attention throughout the entire anime run. References to other moments within the anime are fun recognizing too. Animation, music, and voice acting are as credible as usual.